the whole idea of working with wolves became a mission instead of just a passion. And the idea of teaching people about top predators. It's a very charismatic animal. At the same time, it's a very controversial animal, and it really, for me, it epitomizes the challenges of our relationship to nature and how we place ourselves in the big picture. So, and again, it's something that, in order to leave a better world, a more complete world for future generations. And it really has to do with the quality of life of humans, as much as humans don't always see this. It's always fascinating to me to see that when people talk about nature, they talk about humans, and then they talk about the natural world. And of course, they don't see that we're obviously part of it, and that everything you do to nature, you do yourself in the end. And wolves are great teachers that way, and that's really the role of these as, ambassadors of their species. And so that was the idea, was to found a non-profit organization that would concentrate on educating people about wolves, but wildlife in general, the wilderness, natural habitat, and our relationship to the environment, and our, hopefully soon to be improved ecological wisdom. I would say that the first thing that I thought was really worth looking into is the gap between what wolves are, their true nature, and what people imagine of them. The wolf is probably the most symbolically charged animal in all cultures. In 1995, the National Park Service and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife decided to reintroduce wolves into the park. The wolves had been gone for a number of decades. Since the 1930s, basically, they had been exterminated and they were gone from the park. Obviously, the wolf was the missing link in the ecology of Yellowstone, being the top predator, so they decided to return it. Now, one of the things that motivated them from returning wolves was the disease and the unhealthy state of a lot of tree species that was caused by ungulates overgrazing and overpopulating their range. And that's a problem with prey. The prey of the wolf, when not kept in check, will proliferate beyond the carrying capacity of the environs. And really, what happened was they had erosion problems as well because of the overbrowsing of the elk. And so that was obviously taken care of by the return of the wolf. But one thing that was not really foreseen by the scientists there was the return of the birds of prey. And what happened was, before the wolf was returned, the ruling carnivore there was the coyote. And coyotes prey mainly on smaller animals and mostly on rodents. And of course, that's also the prime food source for birds of prey. And so there was just not enough rodents for the coyotes and the hawks and the eagles in Yellowstone. And so within those 2 years of the wolf being reintroduced, the coyote population diminished by half, and that enabled the birds of prey to actually return to the park. There was all of a sudden enough food for them. And that's the perfect example of how the wolf benefits its environment as the top predator. It's really an engineer of biodiversity, and the ecology is brought back into balance with the top predator present.
Кто на Луну обычно смотрит и воет? Волк. Волк смотрит ночью на Луну и воет. Он понимает, что угроза идет оттуда. Когда мир подойдет к последней черте, когда опасность, вот-вот война начнется, то они втроем должны завыть по-волчьи. Втроем. Джо, Си и наш президент. Показываю как. И чей вой будет ярче, звонче, тот и победит в будущей Третьей мировой войне. Волчий вой, природа.